Hello and good evening to all the NRL fans and newcomers alike. Welcome to the return of the NRL for its fifth season. After 131 days, not like anybody has been keeping track or anything like that, we are finally back and ready for some racing action. Now, for those of you new around here, allow me to introduce all of us. My name is Toon, and I am accompanied by two fantastic gentlemen. The first one is someone who has been there with me in the booth since day one, our resident points specialist and tire aficionado. Let's hear it for Slow-Mo. And also accompanying us in the booth is a man who can't get enough of racing action, color commentator, and PHG recruitment manager, Leo. Now,
Hey.
Slow-Mo, we are back and we have some surprises for the viewers this season. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm really excited for this year. Coming back bigger and better than our last season. We just keep improving. We've got just a wealth of very talented drivers, and a couple of them are going to be eliminated after our qualifying round. So really excited to see who makes it into our coveted spots just to compete for the championships.
Excellent. It is definitely going to be quite interesting. Leo, how are you feeling after us being gone for so long?
It's kind of like that itch you can't scratch until it comes around again. I'm excited. I see a lot of returning faces. I've seen a lot of new faces in the driver lineup. So I'm excited to see what they can do. They can get those spots like Slow-Mo said and go on and do some rounds.
Happy to hear that. Now, with all the pleasantries out of the way, let's get to business. Mm-hmm. Now, before we get started with the race details and the driver lineups, I am so proud to announce that we have our first official sponsor. Hankey's Tavern has graciously agreed to sponsor the league. So if you are in the St. Louis area, you can head on over to Hankey's Tavern over at 901 North Lafayette Street on Saturday afternoons, and you can catch the broadcast live. So stop on by, have a pint with some friends while you watch the NRL, and make sure when you go, you tell them that Leo, Slow-Mo, and Toon sent you. Hankey's Tavern. If you ain't first, we're open till 1 a.m. Now, let's go and take a look at the race details for this pre-qualifying session. So, for this pre-qualifying session, we will see our drivers at Tokyo Expressway central clockwise. They will be in the BMW M4 Group 4 car on racing soft tires for 15 minutes a stint, with brake balance allowed. There will be a 3 times tire wear rate and a 4 times fuel burn rate. Now, some of you may be wondering what we mean by pre-qualifying. Well, don't worry your pretty little heads, as Slow-Mo will now explain it. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Toon. So the way this works is there's not going to be any points that are given for this. There are only 64 total spots available. So we have more drivers than that want to compete. So what happens here is the top 14 from Friday are going to be placed in Division A. The next 14 drivers are going to make Division B. Anybody that doesn't fall within that spot there is unfortunately going to be eliminated from the NRL. So we have eliminations starting this week with the NRL. It's one of those things, you got to make it into one of your respective splits to be able to move on and fight for the championship.
Thank you, Slow-Mo. Glad we can always rely on you. Now, moving on over to the driver lineup for the split. This split, we have Angry Fredbird, Arnax, Deputy Fishtail, Lactastix, PHG Banana, PHG Mr. Ormond, PHG Shaggy 88, Sonic, Talon, and Z48 Car 88. And listed under their names are their driver team affiliations, should they have one, and there should also be their YouTube and Twitch information, should that be applicable. You can always go and check these guys out and see if they're broadcasting their perspective, but when you do, make sure to leave this tab open and unmuted so you don't miss any of the racing action. Okay, so Leo, starting with you. I definitely see some new faces. Have you been able to catch any of the practice for some of these lesser-known drivers in terms of the NRL?
I have caught quite a few of the returning guys. I haven't seen too many of the new faces, unfortunately. Quite a few of the returning guys, though, I did hop in their streams or hopped in their lobbies and watched them go around this very tight track, as we'll find out when we start the qualifying. A lot of them struggled. A lot of them did struggle. Kind of curious to see what they've learned over the week and see how that applies to their times.
All right, now I'm definitely curious to see how it shakes up as well, and I'm also getting word from production that we have some generous donations coming in. So let's start with our fellow broadcaster, T-Case. He sent a $10 donation. We also have a donation from Titanium Ashes. Says, thankful to be here. Have fun, everyone. Boyd Gaming has sent $10 as well. Season 5, let's go. Good luck. We've also got a $6.99 Canadian donation from Luis. Is one of those prizes this season the announcement of a secret Division C for us regular non-alien drivers? We will just have to see. But thank you all so very much for your donation. Every little penny of this goes right into the prize pool for our drivers, for our production team, our stewards. It really helps us a ton. And we can't thank you enough for all of your continued support over these 5 seasons. Now, Slow-Mo, since you're going to be the camera car, and I know you've got a little more information than we do, just seeing what you've seen so far, is there anybody on your radar for this split?
Shaggy Doo's one of those that's always going to be on my radar. If he is on his game and he's able to run his clean laps, I think we could see him up in that 1 or that maybe even that 2 spot. I think there's going to be, we've got a pretty good heat here. Some new faces, some that you're going to see are familiar. And I think you're going to see a lot of very tight times through this track. So these guys have been grinding since the track information came out, and they put in quite a few laps. I haven't seen everybody in this particular heat run, but the majority of them have been really grinding out some laps.
Okay, so we're definitely going to be in for a good show. And Leo, bouncing back to you, you're familiar with Tokyo Expressway. As we take a look at the qualifying, which is currently underway, we have a hot or an out lap going on right now. So, Leo, this is a very, very, very narrow circuit in the grand scheme of it. And what to you are some keys to success when it comes to navigating this walled-in Goodwood?
Toon, I found keeping your momentum up, choosing the right braking point to actually get into the turns. I had a bit of a struggle the other day with it. I started getting the hang of it, and then I lost it all just because of not memorizing when to brake and when to turn, and what gearing to use as well. That's going to come up quite a bit as we watch these guys go around this track. To pay attention to where they're shifting this car, because it's quite odd to me that they're shifting where they are.
Well, it does seem like it's a very, very short shifting car. Now, we are on board with Deputy Fishtail, who is part of Team Infinite Octane Racing Team, driving on a Fanatec DZD Plus. That must be a custom build. We last saw Deputy Fishtail in Season 4's Division 3, where he placed P3 overall. You can find him over on YouTube at Deputy_Fishtail. Now, as we see Deputy Fishtail starting his hot lap, he's definitely got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, and he's also got a car behind him. So situational and spatial awareness is going to be very important for this qualifying session, especially because there's really nowhere to go if somebody's trying to overtake you, because you look to your left, there's a wall. You look to your right, there's a wall. And you round this corner, there's a wall. You get the point. So all of these drivers really need to, show some courtesy, leave some space, and hopefully find good spots to yield to a faster car that won't impede either of them too much, because there is a lot on the line for this qualifying session. We just started, and we've already got people that might be going home. Actually, there will be people going home empty-handed by the end of this. But I mean, not fully empty-handed. They will get, their entry fee back, of course. Right. But it's just, it's literally make or break from the start. As we jump on board with Shaggy Doo, who got a little close to the wall, but looks like didn't lose too much time coming across the line with a 1:19.609, and it looks like we've already got everybody filing in at the moment to try and secure the best time possible. Current leader right now for qualifying is Talon with a 1:18.530. We've still got about 12 minutes left in terms of qualifying, so if you watch the NRL, you guys know how this is going to go. We are going to see some last-minute upsets right as the timer hits 0, as the last car crosses the line. We're going to be seeing a lot of surprises. Wouldn't you agree, Leo?
Yeah, dude, definitely. Seen that time and time again. That last-minute upset of, they got the best lap they got going for them at the end of the session, and it's like a complete surprise when you see that. It's like, wow, I didn't know they had that in them.
Yeah, it's weird how drivers really shine in, do or die moments. As we see, Fredbird has actually just gone purple. So Angry Fredbird is part of Team Left Lane Motorsports, driving on a Fanatec DD Pro. We last saw him last season in Division B, where he finished P9 overall. And you can find him on YouTube at Angry Fredbird, all one word, and he goes purple yet again. Wow, Fredbird has really been putting in those reps since the last season. I think he's going to be out here to make a name for himself and, show that he's got some improvement. And I do recall, at the beginning of all of this, we heard from McNaughty that one of the purposes of this league was for drivers to, push themselves and become better drivers. And it looks like Angry Fredbird, who just took pole with a 1:18.502, is a prime example of that. We wouldn't really expect to see that from Angry Fredbird, given his previous performances. So great improvement. Can't wait to see what you do for the rest of the season. Now, for those of you curious about the picture-in-picture display, that is another new feature to the NRL, where you can see another perspective from our lovely Slow-Mo, who's running the camera car. On Saturday, it'll be the beautiful T-Case and the equally beautiful Tati doing camera cars. So it's just a nice little touch for all of you at home. You can get two bits of racing action at once. Really worth the cost of admission. So, Leo, we've got Angry Fredbird currently leading pole, but he's also got, the man who is in forever in first place in Talon, about 200ths behind him. Do you think Talon's going to live up to his namesake?
Oh, definitely. We all know Talon's a very fast driver, and he almost smacked into somebody that was off to the side there. That's terrifying to watch. Whew. Hold on a sec, I gotta catch my breath after that close call, but it looked like Talon was able to navigate that. Just goes to show what I was just saying. He's Talon, he's quick, he knows what he's doing.
Let's go and take a look at what happened. So here we have Talon coming through the tunnel, and looks like he was approaching Shaggy as he comes around the blind corner. Yeah, ooh, that was a less than ideal place to slow down, but good thing nobody got hurt in that one. Now we see that Talon is currently up a 10th on his time, and it looks like Z48, a new entry into the NRL, is sitting in P3 right now, about 2/100ths of a second, or 2/10ths of a second behind Angry Fredbird. And it looks like he is also slowing down a little bit. Maybe he's trying to conserve his tires on this on his outlap to maybe get a slight competitive edge on his hot lap. I don't know. Leo, can you attest to the viability of that strategy?
Well, I think actually what he was doing was that he had a car coming up behind him, and since he's on his outlap, he's going to go a little bit slower. So he's just going to let the traffic roll past him, so that way he's not in the way of them, and then full send it on the next lap.
All right, that definitely makes sense. So, for those of you curious, Z48 Car 88 is part of Team Infinite Octane Racing. Is also driving on a Fanatec DD Pro. This is their NRL debut, and you can find them on YouTube at ZasCar88. Now, I wonder, because there is an 88 in the name, do you think that there's any relation to Shaggy? Because it seems like fast drivers have 88 in their name for some reason.
It's a good question, man. Don't know. They just like that number of 88.
I don't know. Is there, during an intermission, just try and figure out if there's a NASCAR with 88 on it that's got some prevalence. But looks like Talon has taken P1 off of Angry Fredberg's hands with a 118.335. And I know a lot of the other competitors that'll be doing the qualifying tonight and tomorrow are going to be paying extra close attention to how this all shakes up, because these are their fellow competitors. These might be the people that stop them from advancing in this competition. So I think they're going to be analyzing as many people as possible to try and find some sort of competitive edge. As we jump on over with Mr. Ormond, who is a part of Team Papa's House of Game, currently driving on a controller, and this is his NRL debut. So let's see if Mr. Ormond can make a name for himself in this qualifying session as he comes across for his outlap. I believe that was the second time, the second time check, coming into the tunnel, and looks like he's carrying quite a bit of speed, lifting and coasting. Seems to be a common strategy for any layout of Tokyo Expressway that's not a hard braking zone. More lift and coast, slide down to the brakes, and now off to the races he goes, both figuratively and, well, literally. Now, Leo, I am curious, because I know you're not a fan of BMWs. What is it is it just the cars they have in GT7 themselves, or are you in the same company as McNaughty, where if it's a BMW you just don't like it?
I don't like some of the drivers.
That's fair.
They don't use their blinkers. Why are they even attached to the car? They're always snarky. The ones I've ever met, some of them are cool, some of them haven't. They're mechanical nightmares, is why I really don't like them. They are super hard to work on, parts are super expensive, and I can't justify ever liking them because they're so hard to work on.
Okay, good to know. Now, as we jump on over to Sonic, who is a free agent driving on a controller, this is also his NRL debut. You can find Sonic over on YouTube at Big DC48. It looks like Sonic is currently almost 3 seconds behind Talon at the moment, but luckily there's nothing to really worry about. There's still plenty of qualifying time left. There's still plenty of competitors to go through, and I know that suspense could be a little nerve-wracking, especially because you're up first, so you don't know where exactly you're going to fall when the dust settles. But jumping over to Lagtastics in another green BMW, and judging by the green BMW, I'm going to say he is also part of Team Infinite Octane Racing. And looks like he is currently sitting about just a little over a quarter of a second behind Talon. So yeah, this is definitely close, like Slow-Mo had speculated, and Lagtastics is indeed part of a team, part of Team Infinite Octane Racing on a Thrustmaster T598. Now, that's a brand we really don't hear all that often. This is his NRL debut, and you can find him on YouTube at Smack Attack Mac. What a name! And going purple too. Okay. Now, Slavo, as you've been cycling through the grid, have you felt a little bit of a sense of pride that your predictions were kind of accurate, where it's a pretty close field?
Yeah, it's super close, and I think you're going to start to see those times drop as some of these guys burn fuel. That car gets a little bit lighter. It's going to be a little bit harder to keep on your line. It's going to drift on you a little bit, but they're going to be dropping some tenths here as they start to drop fuel quicker and quicker.
Alrighty. Now, how does it feel knowing your brother, Angry Fredbird, is up in P3?
You know, that's awesome. He's in the sponsor car, so he's representing Hankey's. He wanted to come out and put a good show on for the sponsors, and looks like that's what he's doing.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, he is driving with some purpose. Now, as we jump on over to Arnax, I'm sorry, who is a free agent. He is driving the Fanatec CSL Direct Drive 8 Nm with a drive hub, whatever that means. And this is Arnax's NRL debut from the tropical land of Canada. Now, it looks like Lactastics has taken over the pole position for this right now, but I'm sure that's only because Talon has allowed it. But Lactastics had set a 118.047, so we're definitely getting even closer to that 117 territory. Will anybody in this split be the first one to go in and capture that coveted 117? And it looks like Arnax might get a pit lane penalty for that entry. That was a little choppy. And jumping back over to Deputy Fishtail, who is currently a little over a tenth behind Lactastics, still has a minute and a half left of the qualifying proper. So depending on when he gets across the line, it looks like it will be actually relatively soon. I don't think he'll have enough time to go in and set another lap after this, but another full lap for the runoff. But it looks like Deputy Fishtail might be able to pull off a last-minute miracle. That is the theme of the NRL, it seems. But it won't be that lap, as he was down 1 second and 1/10 on the dot. So this is definitely going to be make or break for Deputy Fishtail. We're going to have to pay close attention to how he goes about this. So coming in to turn 2, coming in down the hill and through the first set of tunnels. Down a tenth at the moment, not carrying enough momentum. So it looks like momentum is definitely a big factor in terms of qualifying and just overall racing here, because you've got all of these really long sweeping corners. And I mean, how late of an apex is too late of an apex, Leo?
I honestly here it's hard for me to judge because of my eyesight, but I don't really know where the proper apex is here. I guess you go with your feel of how you get around the corner.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, it is a momentum-based car and a momentum-based track, so the more speed you can carry through here, the faster you're going to be.
All right, I can understand that. Now, as we've got Deputy Fishtail starting to round off his lap, he'll be down 2/10, so no last-minute hurrah from him, but we've got Talon on a flyer right now, and he's up. And yeah, he's up 4/10 right now, so this might be it. I didn't see a purple, but he's up 4/10. So coming around, and he is driving like a man possessed, coming across the line. What is it going to be? So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Well, he did it! 117.849 from P1. Well played, Talon, and there was our buzzer beater.
It's just like I said, Toon, as that car got lighter, he was able to drop those tenths.
He was indeed, and Talon definitely did everything he could. He got that thing down to a quarter of a tank and then just absolutely swung for the fences. As we wait for the runoff time, that was definitely an outstanding qualifier. We have our first 117 of this round, so we're going to have to see how many more we get. Will we get 2, 3, 5, 6? Will split A be nothing but 117? Will there be a 116? We're just going to have to wait and find out. Just an overall outstanding qualifying session. Slow-mo, what do you think of what we just saw?
Oh, that was exciting. I mean, you didn't see a whole lot of penalties. I know there were a couple guys that had a few, but really they did a great job keeping their car on track, pointed in the right direction. There was a lot of good times these guys put up throughout their laps. So a couple different strategies. Some of the guys were in pits a little quicker than others. You saw a lot of different approaches to getting this qualifying done.
All right, indeed. Now, I'm noticing that the podium is separated by only a little over a quarter of a second. That is, that's ridiculously close. And Fredberg managed a P4 out of all that. That's got to be the best I have seen him do in a while. Like, I think we may have a new version of Fredberg, like, for this season, and hopefully we can see him get into some intense battling, some great racing, and just see how far he's improved from last season. Now, with all that said, let's go and take a look at the classified results for this pre-qualifying round. So taking P1 will be Talon with a 1:17.849, followed by Lagtastics, who came in just about 0.2 of a second behind him with a 1:18.047. Coming in just a little over a tenth behind Lagtastics will be Deputy Fishtail, who had a 1:18.177. Following Deputy Fishtail will be Angry Fredbird, followed by Z48 car rounding out our top 5. Making our way down the order, we have PHG Shaggy Doo 88 with a 1:18.958, and coming in not even 0.04 of a second behind him is Arnax with a 1:18.992. Moving on down the order, we have PHG Mr. Ormond with a 1:19.176, which is still really close. And rounding out our qualifiers for this first split will be Sonic with a 1:21.332. So all in all, great hustle from everybody. The practice definitely showed, and we can't wait to see what the next round has, or the next split has in store for us when we come back from this intermission. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. After our intermission, we had an amazing first showing for a lot of drivers in our first qualifying split, and now it's time to get ready for our second of 3. But first and foremost, before we get into that, once again, a big thank you to Hankey's Tavern for sponsoring the NRL, our first official sponsor. You can find them in the St. Louis area on 901 Lafayette North. And remember, if you ain't first, we're open till 1 a.m. Thank you, Hankey's, for sponsoring the NRL. Now, for those of you just tuning in, let's go and take a look at what our qualifiers are dealing with today. So they're at Tokyo Expressway, central clockwise. They're only doing a qualifying session because this will determine whether or not they move forward in the competition. They will be driving the BMW M4 Group 4 car on racing soft tires. There will be a 15-minute qualifier with brake balance on, heavy damage, 3 times tire, and 4 times fuel. And it's definitely time to get in there and really make a name for yourself. Leave everything on the track and nothing behind. Now, for those of you tuning in, you might be wondering, what do we mean by pre-qualifying? Well, to refresh your memories or to enlighten those of you just tuning in, Slow-Mo, please elaborate.
Thank you, Tim. So we have only a limited number of spots. So there's going to be 14 drivers on Friday that qualify for Division A. Then the next 14 drivers will qualify for Division B. Anybody that's not in that top 28 grouping there is unfortunately going to be eliminated. So that's how it works. There's not any points. This is basically just for the rights to be able to run and compete for our championship.
Thank you, Slow-Mo. Now, moving on over to our driver lineup for this split, we have Beef Castle, Chief Apollo 11, PHG Bells, PHG Fast Cougar QC, PHG Jorge Sr., PHG Papa, PHG Strict 9, RSR Zilla, not PHG, and Stumpy. Listed under their names are their team affiliations, should they have one, or their free agency, and also their YouTube and or Twitch presence, should it be applicable. As always, you can go and take a look and see if any of these drivers are streaming, but make sure if you do to leave this tab unmuted. That way you don't miss any of the racing action. All right, gentlemen, there's definitely several familiar faces in there, and several of them are PHG. Wonder who's responsible for that one. So, Slow-Mo, with the drivers that we've seen, a lot of returning faces on this one, do you think we'll have a situation like we did in the last split with Fredbird, where we'll see a drastic improvement in performance from previous seasons?
You know, Tim, that's a tough one for me to say. I mean, there's a lot of really fast folks that are in the split here. Obviously, you see there's a lot of PhD crew. You know that they're practicing together as a group. There's pace in this split here. Make no mistake about it. You can see that we're going to have some good drivers out there. I think we might see another 117, but that's still left to be determined if they can stay out of the wall.
You know what? I am fully inclined to agree with you. Now, Leo, a lot of those PHG drivers that we saw on the list were in the exhibition series that was running, you know, a couple weeks before where we are right now. Do you think those drivers are going to be putting in a little more gusto just due to the sheer nature of the NRL?
Oh, of course, Toon. Of course they will be. I mean, this is kind of for funsies, but also kind of not. So they're going to have a little more incentive to be as fast as they humanly possibly can, if that's a word that I just said. But they will definitely be quite a bit probably faster than what we saw in that exhibition series, I would think, because of that reason.
All right, fair enough. And I would also like to make note that I've got gotten word from production that we have a generous donation of $10 Canadian from Racer51. Good luck, everyone. See you all at season 6. Okay. And looks like we also have 5 gifted memberships from Fernando Button's Happy Fun Time Hour. thank you all for your support. It means the world to all of us here at the NRL. And now with that being said, let's go and take a look at the qualifying split 2. So we jump on board with PHE Papa, the proprietor of Team Papa's House of Game, and he is just zooming right now, revving the daylights out of 5th gear in that BMW, and yeah, he's still revving it.
He's doing some fuel burn there, Tim.
I mean, not the fuel burn I'm familiar with. Most people just rev the daylights out of the car in like 2nd gear or something, but Papa is...
With the fuel being up at 4 times, they can run it in 4th or 5th, still, get around the track at a pretty reasonable speed, but they're going to burn about 1/8 of the tank off doing this strategy here.
Oh, all right. Well, I know every little kilogram matters, so this will be interesting to see how it shapes up for Papa. And this outlap is definitely the perfect opportunity to start shedding some of that fuel. But as he rounds the final corner and gets ready to start his hot lap, let's see if he was able to carry some momentum from that final turn. And coming across the line with an outlap of a 123, or the side says 125 for some reason. But let's see if Papa can get a good time. I know he is one that diligently practices every opportunity he gets. So he's So I know that he's going to definitely be doing everything he can to qualify as best as he can. He's pulled off some miracles in the NRL. I take us back to Season 3 of Red Bull Ring, where he just did a Hail Mary of a strategy and wound up winning the race. So I've got high expectations for the leader of the PHG, Paparazzi. Now, Leo, you're a very avid viewer of Papa's, and also you do spend a lot of time, running lobbies with him. How much of Papa's practice were you able to catch this week?
So I wasn't able to catch, be in the lobbies per se, but I did watch him stream it quite a bit, which, honestly, he started pretty early this week, which surprised me, because usually he's kind of the last minute kind of guy, so he's definitely been putting the work in, that's for sure. So I'm expecting him to see about the 118 mark, maybe dip in the 17s.
All right, and I just want to quickly make note, now that you mentioned the 117s, the running menace from the PHG Exhibition Series, Jorge Sr., has set a 117.7 dead. So that is definitely a time that you cannot take lightly. And just with that one lap alone, he has overtaken Talon for overall P1 in terms of qualifying times. Will it last? We'll have to wait and see. There's still another split after this. There's still over 10 minutes left for this. And we still also have another day's worth of competition. So it's really anybody's guess at this point who's going to get even closer to those 116s. And as we see Jorge coming out of the tunnel, and looks like he's starting to catch up to one of the drivers ahead of him, I do want to make note that Jorge Sr. is definitely part of Team Papa's House Game, and he is driving on a Fanatec, and this is his NRL debut. Now coming around the corner, Jorge is heading into the pits. Actually, now looking at his tires, I can kind of see why. He set an absolute blitz of a lap, and it just cooked those tires. And jumping on over to RSR Zilla, who is coming across the line with a 119.798, a little over a tenth slower than his overall fastest lap, and back in the box to run it back. Coming on out of the pits for the Tokyo Expressway clockwise layout, we'll jump on over to Chief Apollo 11, a household name in the NRL. Chief Apollo has been in the NRL since, I believe, the first season. So he's definitely familiar with how this competition is, and it's always great to see so many NRL veterans just coming back each season to get more competition. Chief Apollo is a free agent driving on a Logitech G Pro wheel with a PSVR2 headset on. Our last appearance of Chief Apollo was in Season 4's Division A, where he finished P8 overall. You can find him on YouTube at Boyd_Gaming. coming into the tunnel. He was rubbing the daylights out of that. I thought it was going to wind up understeering, but then again, these guys are driving. I'm the one in the booth, so I am not going to question how these guys drive these cars. So, Leo, we've got Chief Apollo 0.4 of a second behind Jorge, and it looks like Chief Apollo is really trying to, close the, or try and put more of a gap between himself and Jorge. Do you think we'll see some more last-minute upsets in the split?
Toon, it's always a possibility, man. We've watched, like you said, Chief Apollo from day one, from the first season. He's definitely a quick driver for sure. He might be able to pull a little bit more gap to George, or Jorge Sr. I apologize. But I don't know. Jorge Sr. is quite a fast guy. So that's a good question. I honestly don't have an answer at this moment until we get closer to the end of qualifying.
All right, I understand. Now, for our eagle-eyed viewers, you will see that over on the right side of the screen, we have a bonnet cam perspective of Jorge Sr. as he is driving at this current moment. So feel free to bounce your attention between the big screen and the little screen to get a full glimpse of what is going on as we jump on board with PHG Strict 9, who is a part of Team, Pilot's House again. And is driving on a Thrustmaster T598. That's the second time we've seen that one. This is Strict 9's NRL debut, and you can find him on YouTube at Marty Strickland-14G. It looks like Strict 9 is definitely closing the gap to the car up ahead, so maybe he's going to be carrying some momentum for a real, banger of a lap. We'll just have to wait and see. As Strict 9 comes around the corner and comes across the line, he sets a 1:26.52, but let's see if the momentum was there to set a new personal best. We jump on over to Beef Castle, who is unfortunately half a second down on his fastest lap, but luckily there is still a ton of time left, so there's no real reason for any of these drivers to start panicking quite yet. And honestly, these drivers in the NRL really thrive under pressure. If you're a astute NRL fan, you'll obviously recall some of our most intense battles happening on elimination races, and we've seen just absolute master classes in driving and racing, and we've also got a car on the wall.
Oh man.
So there was that.
And Toon, we've got a new leader as well.
Oh my lord, Chief Apollo 11, so 1:17.547. Yep, we're gonna be seeing some action. And Beef Castle with a 1.5 second penalty for hitting the wall. That is unfortunate. So let's take a gander at what happened here. So we've got Beef Castle coming on up and around, and it clatters the wall, and it looks like Strict 9 was in the wall. So jumping back to the present, Beef Castle coming into the pits. Unfortunately, that will not get rid of that penalty. As we jump on board with Fast Cougar, who seems to be in a T-Rex themed, BMW. Coming in through the tunnel and just absolutely revving the daylights out of that car. I am definitely detecting a pattern with these drivers. You short shift it up until it's a straight, and then you just rev it like there's no tomorrow. I mean, whatever works. Am I right, Leo?
Yeah, Toon. I mean, that was probably about the hardest thing I could understand about this car is how to do the shifting in this thing. It just did not compute in my brain. But then again, it's a BMW. Doesn't have to.
Well,
yeah,
but I think it's interesting. We're seeing two different styles. We're seeing some people revving it all the way out. We're seeing some people just barely redline it and get into the next gear. So you're seeing really two dramatically different approaches to how people are driving this car.
Yeah, that is very true, Slow-Mo. It's just interesting to see how these drivers are finding different ways to shed the fuel load. That way they can carry on and not lose too much time while trying to make the car faster. As we jump on board with Stumpy, who is in a very subtle, just basic orange BMW, coming around has a personal fastest lap of the moment at a 1:18.841. Looks like he is a little over a quarter of a second down on his personal fastest lap, but there's still just under 4.5 minutes left, so there's a solid few laps left in Stumpy. Stumpy is part of the Team Brew crew, driving on a controller. Last appearance was in Season 4's Division B, P20 overall, and you can find him on YouTube at Stumpy GT. Now, the P20 overall, like looking at the overall placement for some of these drivers in the driver cards, it really gives you kind of a benchmark for some of our returning drivers because it helps you see, you know, how much they've improved in the off season. And, you know, I know life happens for many drivers, and Chief Apollo's going purple again, so there's that. And it looks like Chief Apollo is going to be coming around, doing a lift and coast. Ooh, just slightly skidding against the wall, but looks like no harm done. Let's see if that little bump with the wall, that bump with the wall too, is going to cost him that purple time. And, oh my lord, it really did. He was a 10th up purple and then just went down half a second. Yeah, drivers, stay away from that wall by any means necessary. That is, wow, that is catastrophic, Slow-mo.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, that wall just, it takes all that momentum away from you, and it's terrible. It is the quickest way to kill a good lap.
And the thing that's really insult to injury is no matter where you go, there's just walls everywhere. So not only will you lose time if you hit it hard enough, you're going to get heavy damage, and I guess there's a possibility of a penalty to add insult to injury. So yeah, this is definitely a masterclass in really, you know, car control and throttle control, because if you push the car too hard, you're going to hit the wall. If you don't push the car hard enough, you're not going to get a fast lap. So it's all about finding that happy medium from what I can gather. And I don't know, Leo, you're one that likes to go and get on track with all these drivers. So how credible is that claim I just made, where it's really like this qualifier is all about car control?
You're 100% correct, too. It is all about car control. You've got to dance with the throttle, dance with the brake, just to not lose enough speed. To, if you keep it off the wall and you're being too delicate, you're going to be behind here on your time. Start pushing it more, that's when it starts biting you. You will be in the wall, picking up damage and a penalty at the same time. So your claim is 100% accurate.
All right, well, glad to know I was onto something there. Now, when it comes to trying to navigate this track, what is pretty much the first thing you want to get down? Not hitting the wall or finding your rhythm? Oh, and Jorge Sr. is now up slightly over a 10th purple. So this will be interesting to see if he can carry that momentum, because he might be able to rob Chief Apollo of that P1 by literal hundredths of a second. And this is, 2/10, almost a quarter of a second. This is the NRL, folks. Anything can, anything will happen. So we're going to have to see if Jorge can carry this, or will there be an unfortunate hand of fate moment? As we hear Jorge's tires screaming as he comes through this SE bit of the track. And he's up over a quarter of a second. So it looks like Jorge is about to go and retake his P1. Let's just see if the car on the track has the same idea for him. Coming around the penultimate corner into the final corner, he is definitely giving it the beans. And will he have enough time to go and get another lap in? Looks like he does. Ooh, lost a little bit of time, but he was able to take that. He was able to take that P1 from Chief Apollo by 600ths of a second. Now looking on over to the right side of the screen, we now have the driver cam up for Papa, who is currently sitting in P3 at the moment. Chief Apollo currently up 2/10 on his fastest lap, and this will be his last hurrah. He has about a quarter of a tank of gas. He was just at about the halfway mark for this lap, so it's do or die time for Chief Apollo. Will he be able to go and reclaim P1? He's up 800ths of a second at the moment. It's not purple for some reason, but we'll just have to figure out what that means later on. coming up into the uphill S's thing. Short shifted up to 7th. He's up almost to 10th, so it looks like if Chief Apollo can make this lap stick, he will take P1. He is driving like a man possessed. It is do or die time. This is the NRL. Anything can happen. Anything will happen. And we're going to have to see what will happen in just a second as we see Chief Apollo nearing the start-finish line and coming across with a 1:17.286. Took a 10th off of Jorge's, almost 2 tenths. He looked at Jorge and say, I'll be taking my spot back. Thank you very much. And he just got dangerously close to that 1:16. So I think a 1:16 is possible for these drivers. Let's go and see how this shakes up. So Papa is a little over a quarter of a second, took a solid P3. Fast Cougar P4. Yeah, this was a good qualifier. Had quite a bit of action. Another last minute upset. Welcome to the NRL. Just in case you're new around here, this is a theme. So, Leo, we definitely had a intense qualifier here. 2 drivers in the 117s, one almost in the 116 territory. Do you think we'll see a 116 tonight?
And I think so, honestly. It'll be a high 116, but I definitely see someone pulling it off for sure. Who that is exactly, I have no idea, because all these guys are fast. I couldn't put a name to who exactly, but somebody's gonna do it for sure. They're gonna get that perfect lap together, that rhythm, and it's just gonna work for them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not a matter of if, but when. Who will be the chosen one that gets that 116? And then when that 116 hits, will there be another one? Just how fast are these competitors this season? Like, I didn't suspect a 117 to be seen as frequently as we've seen it so far. And these drivers in Split 3, they've been probably watching closely or been practicing diligently, so they do have some sort of advantage. But let's go and take a look at the classified results for a moment. So taking P1 at the last possible minute will be Chief Apollo 11 with an overall fastest lap of a 1:17.286. Other drivers, that is your time to beat when you're qualifying. Following P2 will be Jorge Sr. with an astonishing 1:17.484, followed by more 1:17s. My lord. We have Papa rounding out our top 3 with a 1:17.636, followed by PHG Fast Cougar QC with a 1:17.889. Rounding out our top 5 will be RSR Zilla with a 1:18.586. Moving our way down the order, we have Stumpy in P6 with a 1:81.841, followed by Strick 9 with a 1:19.235, and rounding out our drivers for this qualifying stint will be Beef Castle with a 1:19.332. And I did get word from production we've had more generous donations, so let's go and take a look at that for a second, shall we? So we've got a $10 donation from Ax Machina. Really well done, production team. This is a blast to watch. Thank you so much, Ax Machina. That means the world to every single one of us. And we've also got a generous donation from Dominican Sharingan, also known as La Cabra. And it looks like it says, big salute, Chief. Thank you for the $5 donation. That, again, every little bit goes right here into the prize pool for the drivers and helps pay the stewards, production team, and everybody who helps make this possible, barring McNaughty. Just throwing that out there. So thank you all so much for your support, and please stay tuned while we take one more intermission and then get ready to go and get into our last split of the night. Welcome back, one and all. We've had two intense splits so far. We've seen more 117s than honestly I predicted, and something tells me with this next split, we're going to be seeing way more of those, so get ready. But let's take a moment and once again thank Hanky's Tavern for generously agreeing to sponsor this league. It means the world to us, and it just shows that the NRL is growing bigger and we can do bigger and better things. Now, for those of you in the St. Louis area, feel free to stop by Hanky's Tavern over at 901 North Lafayette Street in St. Louis, Missouri, and take a friend. Tell them that the NRL sent you. And, well, Hanky's Tavern, if you ain't first, we're open till 1 a.m. Keep that in mind. All right. So, for those of you that may have, just tuned in, or maybe your memory isn't there due to all of the action that we've seen so far, let's go one last time to the race settings, and we'll run you through what they're dealing with. So, all of our drivers are on Tokyo Expressway center clockwise. It is a qualifying only session. They will be driving the BMW M4 Group 4 car with a 15-minute time limit, and it's do or die for these drivers. BOP is on with brake bias allowed, heavy damage, 3 times tire, 4 times fuel, and they will be on those beautiful racing soft tires. Now, just as a quick reminder to everybody that there will be no points allocated, as this is a pre-qualifying session, to which Slow-Mo will explain.
Yeah, so everybody that runs on a Friday is competing against the Friday drivers. These guys are trying to get their spot either in the A division or the B division. There's 14 spots for each division. There will be eliminations after tonight's run. Not everybody gets to make it into the NRL to compete for the championship in the respectable divisions.
Thank you, Salamo. Now, looking at our driver lineup for this final split of the evening, we have Alico's 1, BHR Fernando Button, we have Bobagito, Corridor 71, The Truth Serum, Dark and Azrael, Jesser, Krulub, RSR Ace R1, Subi 15, and Sugar Shovels, aka RJ. Listed under their names are their team affiliations or free agency, whichever one is applicable to them. And also, you can find their social media presences on YouTube and Twitch, should that be applicable as well. Please make sure to check out the drivers if they are streaming, and if they are, please do leave this tab unmuted. That way you don't miss any of the racing action. Boys, this lobby is stacked. So, Leo, what are you expecting to see?
Oh, I'm expecting to see 17s from the highs to the lows, and maybe, just maybe, that coveted 16 that you were talking about earlier for times. I've raced against a couple of these guys, and they are fast. So we'll see what happens here shortly.
All right, and Slow-Mo, I know you have some insight on to at least one of the drivers. Is a 16 going to happen tonight?
I think it's very possible. The pace is absolutely there with at least 1, 2, probably more than that. So let's see if these guys can stay out of the wall, keep their speed up out of the turns. Subi is one guy I would tell you to keep your eye on. He has been running a ton of laps this week, so watch out for him today.
All right, thank you for that brilliant insight, and that just goes to show how serious these drivers take this league. It seems like when NRL rolls around, most, if not all of these drivers forget about daily races, and they spend as much time as humanly possible just practicing and trying to get into the best shape racing-wise they can. Now, let's go and jump on board with Dark and Azrael, who is going to be leading the charge in the standardized infinite octane racing livery. Now, yeah, this lobby is just looking at some of these names. We've got Division A people from last season. We've got veterans of the league in, Corridor, Sugar Shuffles, Jesser, And taking a look at the driver card for Dark and Azrael, he is a part of Team Infinite Octane Racing on the Logitech G Pro, and last appearance was last season in Division A, where he placed P21 overall. So I'm going to be calling my shot now. Dark and Azrael is going to have a leaps and bounds level improvement between last season and this season. Now making our way over to S7R The Truth Serum, teammate to Saturday commentator Tati. And it looks like the Truth Serum is already gaining on Azrael. So it's just an outlap, but these people are already hitting the ground running. Truth did kind of bang against the wall a little bit, but it's an outlap, so we can always, look past it. The Truth Serum is part of Team Sector 7 Racing on the Fanatec podium. That's not a wheel I hear a whole lot, but it's a Fanatec, so it's probably expensive and probably good. And his last appearance was last season, where he was P3 overall, so a podium finisher for Season 4. Let's see if the Truth Serum can work his way up the podium this season, take P2, or maybe even claim the victory for Division A. As he dings against the wall again, that's going to slow him down a little bit, but luckily we're only 2 minutes into this 15-minute qualifier, so it's always best to get the mistakes out early and try and bounce back later on. Wouldn't you agree, Slomo?
Yeah, absolutely. If you touch that wall, you just got to maybe scrub that lap and plan on burning fuel for the rest of it and trying to get through.
Thank you, Slomo. Now, as they come through the tunnel, Truth about to end his first hot lap of many. Looks like he's maintaining pace with Dark and Azrael at the moment, and we have a driver cam on Subi15, the driver that Slomo had alluded to earlier, that could definitely put a 116 on the board. Truth coming across the line with a 118, Dark and Azrael with a 117, and Subi with a 117.603, so already hitting the ground running and driving like a man possessed. Making our way over to Corridor 71, a household name for the NRL. And driving a Tecate livery. I'll have to ask somebody what that means. I'm sure it's a brand or something in Mexico. I'm not 100% sure. But Corridor is a free agent driving on the Logitech G Pro. We last saw him in Season 3's Division A, where he finished P18 overall. So he did take a bit of a hiatus for last season, so we'll just have to see what he has in store for us this go-around. You can find him on YouTube at Corridor7110. Okay. And Subby also has... Subby is still in pole position with a 117.603, so we're going to have to check back in on him a little bit later as we jump on board with Cornbread Racing's Bobagito. I did get to see Bobagito do quite a bit of racing in the PHG Exhibition Series, and I got to say, those CBR guys are pretty fast. So we're going to have to see how many more CBR guys signed up for the NRL and just see how they stack up against our veterans and newcomers alike. Making our way over to RSR Ace, who is also going to the pits. It looks like everybody is now getting a fresh set of tires and getting back out there. Nobody's taking any fuel, so they're trying to keep that car as light as humanly possible. And Leo, we did see Bobagito in the PHG series. He is part of Team Cornbread Racing on the Fanatec DD Pro, making his NRL debut. And what do you think of Bobagito's performance during the PHG Exhibition Series? Do you think it set high expectations for him for this season of the NRL?
I do indeed think that it did. All the Cornbread guys, they practiced together for that and stayed in line together, so they're really good about being close with other cars and everything else, and he was one of the faster guys that I saw. So he set the bar high for my expectations, at least.
Yeah, I think he set the expectations pretty high for me as well. And I'm curious if the leader of CBR, Cornbread, signed up for this league. Cornbread again, being the leader of CBR and a very fast driver in his own right, and fellow, Ohioan, 614 Columbus. Let's see, Bus Gang Gang. So it's good to see, a local face in terms of Cornbread. It'd be nice to see him, come in and represent the little hometown hero, in a sense, as we jump on over to Sugar Shuffles, who is a free agent, lifelong free agent. Believe me, we have tried. Who's driving on a Logitech G29, who made his last appearance last season, where he finished P4 overall. You can find him over on YouTube at Sugar Shuffles, where he races and does astonishing livery videos, where honestly, Sugar Shuffles is just one of the best livery designers in the world. And don't take our word for it. That is the word of Digit Gaming's community. Him and Salamander MN both. Top 2 livery designers. And we can see that showcase in RJ's Stand Up to Cancer livery. Beautifully done. And you're representing a good cause. And I would expect no less from this man. What do you think, Solano?
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of those guys that can really just jump out on the track, get a pretty good feel for it, and knock out a time that's very respectable. So keep your eyes on him.
It just might have to, because P4 is nothing to scoff at, especially in Division A, where it's stacked. Like, Division A is where we'll see times separated by the thousandths, if you recall that one, Leo.
I do, man. I do. I remember quite well that not even thousands, less than that, I think, at some points.
I do recall a couple that were 1,000th. Yes, Limo?
We do have a new pole leader in Bobagito with a 1:17.425.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Yep. Cornbread Racing's Bobagito currently has pole position with that 1:17.425, but 1:17.268 is indeed the time to beat right now for these drivers. And given the caliber of drivers in this split, it's very likely we're going to see that time beaten. Now, as we jump on board with RSR Ace R1, who is part of Team Real Squad Racing, is driving on a Moza R12, making his NRL debut. You can find him on YouTube at Acer1000. I just want to point out, he's on a Moza. That is definitely not a name you hear every day. And he hits the wall too, and the commentator curse begins. Oh boy. Oh, well, I'm going to have to sleep with one eye open.
Some of those Mozas have like extreme force feedback. That's they've got some powerful wheels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they have some powerful wheels, but they're primarily a PC brand, so it's good to see they're following through on trying to add some PlayStation support, unless, it was one of those cases where you got the adapter and all that other stuff made it behave like a G20. It's a thing in a Tijani video. Just go look it up.
Right.
But as we jump on board with Fernando Button, who is currently rocking a 1:26.2 as a fastest lap. Fernando is part of Team Beehive Racing, Buzz, driving on a Logitech G29. You can find him on YouTube at ShakyMark4969, where a 1.5 second penalty will also be waiting for you there. An unfortunate thing to see, especially with heavy damage. And it looks like Fernando's gone back to the pits, so let's go take a look at Krulub 11. Coming across the line and starting another hot lap. Current fastest lap is a 1:28.54. It's still a pretty solid time, and to all the drivers that have been in this competition so far this evening, do not fret about your time. There's still another day of qualifying to go, so for all we know, your time might not be to your liking, but it might be enough to keep you in the competition. You will literally just have to wait and see. Anything can happen, anything will happen. I say it till I'm blue in the face, people. And speaking of blue, Krulov is now a quarter of a second up on his fastest lap. So if he carries this momentum, he might even be able to get a place or two in this one. So it's not over until you cross that start finish line for the final time, and we still got about 4.5 minutes left, so it's anybody's game. And Krulov goes up by over half a second. And just want to let you all know, over in the picture-in-picture view, we have Bobagito currently, and they are just on an absolute tear right now. I mean, 117.425, if he can find a rhythm within the next few minutes, we will see a 116. As we see Krylov come across the line, just a second up on his time. So there we go. That was a position gain. Will he be able to do it again? We'll have to wait and see. As we jump on board with Subi, who is separated by 0.02 of a second between himself and Bobagito. We're already getting into that stupid close racing. This is the type of racing that the NRL brings out in people. Close, clean racing, and just separated by thousandths of a second. It's photo finish level times. So we're just in for a great season, especially with all the new faces, the returning faces. We're onto something special for this 5th season, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Now, Leo, we've got Dark and Azriel, who was definitely a force to be reckoned with in season 4. Do you think we're going to be seeing a last-minute upset from Dark and Azriel in this qualifying session?
It's a strong possibility. I mean, we've had, 135 days, 136 technically?
131.
131, sorry. Added a few days. He may have buckled down, and we've really been putting them laps in, been playing the game a lot, getting better. I mean, that's the name of the game doing this, and in this league. It'll make you better whether you know it or not. So I have a feeling, he could.
Absolutely. To touch on the league making you better whether you want it or not, in just a sec, I do have a question for you. Just want to quickly throw out that Dark and Azriel is part of the Team Infinite Octane Racing on the G Pro, and was last seen last season where he finished P21 overall. So there's definitely going to be a vast improvement this season from Dark and Azriel, just given how he's going right now. But Leo, you raced in the NRL in season 2, and when the season was over, did you notice the amount of improvement you got in terms of driving ability from the league?
Oh, entirely. I mean, I was pretty fresh to the game, I want to say. I maybe been playing for, 4 months at the time, I think. And then I raced against everybody that was there, like Root, all the PHG guys that were in there, and I had no clue what I was doing. Then I started practicing with everybody, learning how to get the car to cooperate with me, and I didn't know by the end of it, I was like, wow, that has improved my driving tenfold. And then I decided, this competition's getting kind of crazy. Let me go up to the booth instead.
And here you are. Now you're stuck in the booth.
Maybe.
Listen, you'll find more success in the booth than on the track.
Only time will tell.
One thing to call out is while you guys were chatting, it looks like Subi went and put up a 117.319. He's creeping closer to that 16 mark.
Yep, Subi is definitely on there, but there's only 43 seconds left of the qualifying proper. So will it be enough time to go and put up a 16? Or will it be a case of that 117.2 being the fastest of the evening? We are just literally going to have to wait and see as Subi gets ready to come across the line. 24 seconds left and just barely gets in there to get one last hurrah in there. Now, as we jump over to Dark and Azriel, who is 300ths purple. Will he be able to carry this momentum? This is his last chance to take pole position. Will it be enough? We're going to have to see it as he goes through his final hot lap. It looks like Sugar Shuffles will get one last hurrah in as well. Looks like Dark and Azriel lost a little bit of momentum, so he's still up, but not up enough to take P1. Jumping back on over to Subi as he's getting ready to come across the next time check. What will we be seeing? He's up by 200ths, so that is definitely a start. And we've got Bobagito sitting there in picture display, so we've got, two contenders for P1 right now, going at it and giving everything they've got. It is literally anybody's game right now. They have to put a perfect lap on it, and Subi unfortunately loses a bit of time and is now down by 0.08 of a second. That has got to be a little disheartening, but luckily there's still a few corners left. You can try and shave a little bit of time off. There might be something in there. Will it be enough, though? That is just the million-dollar question, as Truth went and set a 1:17.404. What will Subi set for the final time? It'll be a 1:17.587, so no 1:16 from Subi, but we've also got Bobachito coming in hot, and what is it gonna be? It'll be a 1:18, no 1:16 from Bobachito either. So it looks like the 1:17.268 set last split will be the fastest time of the evening. So very well done, but yeah, it's 1:17 galore. I definitely think that it's gonna be split one. Division A is going to just be nothing but 1:17 drivers. So let's go and take a look at these qualifying standings, shall we? Subi sitting in P1 with that 1:17.319, followed by Bobachito, who was just slightly over a tenth behind him with a 1:17.425. Rounding out our podium will be S7R to True Serum with a 1:17.704. And coming in P4 will be Dark and Azrael with a, you guessed it, 1:17.951. Rounding out our top 5 will be Alicos with a 1:18.030, followed by RSR Ace, Jesser, Corridor with a 1:18.425. Making our way down the order, we have Sugar Shuffles with a 1:18.620, followed by Krulub with a 1:19.826. And rounding out our drivers for this final split of the evening will be BHR Fernando Button with a 1:20.206. It was a valiant effort from all the drivers, and 1:17s are definitely commonplace. So before I get to your guys' thoughts, I want to issue a little bit of homework and a challenge to the Saturday drivers. I want somebody on the Saturday side of all of this to go and set that 1:16. Show us it is possible. Show us that you can do it. Go and make a name for yourself tomorrow when you go and have your qualifying split. Now, speaking of qualifying splits, Leo, what do you think of what we just saw?
Man, that was a lot of fast drivers in that. I think I pretty much nailed it when we were getting into it. You know, we saw a lot of 1:17s. And indeed, we saw a lot of 1:17s, even almost creeping into that 16th, that 1:16 that you want so badly. Now you're going to have people chasing after you if they don't get it.
Well, I think they're going to be chasing after me because I already cursed somebody this broadcast.
Oh.
So at that rate, it par for the course. Slow-mo?
I think that was a great quality session. I mean, watching Subi and Bobachito swap back and forth was just amazing. Obviously, everybody was in the mix there. You know, anybody could have hit that line a little bit cleaner, maybe got out of turn a little bit quicker, and next thing you know, they'd have been up at the top of the board too. So congratulations to everybody tonight. Well done on all the drivers' parts.
Yes, well done indeed. That was just an insane showcase from all these drivers, and we are not done yet because tomorrow at noon, I believe, noon Eastern Daylight Time, we will be seeing 1 p.m. I'm getting word from production. My apologies. 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we will be seeing our Saturday drivers with the Saturday broadcast hosted by the ever-talented and gorgeous Flawed Genius Gaming, followed by equally talented and gorgeous commentators TK's and S7R's Tati. So make sure you do not miss that because what happens there is going to definitely set the precedent for the season to come. Any final words from you, Leo? I'm getting word from production that I'm jumping the gun, and I'm sorry for that. We are going to take an intermission and then go take a look at the full standings for Friday. That's on me. I am very sorry. And yeah, so stay tuned. You're not done with us quite yet. Welcome back, everybody. That was our final break. So let's go and take a look at the standings for Friday and see who's making it and who won't. This is a very suspenseful moment, so we're just going to have to wait and see how this all pans out. Yeah, this is the part I like the least about this job, is telling people, hey, you tried, but it's got to be done.
Yeah.
It is tough. All right. So, taking overall P1 for Friday will be Chief Apollo 11 with that 117.286, followed by Subi, who was close but couldn't quite get there, falling not even, actually, about a 400th of a second behind Chief Apollo, followed by Bobajito rounding out our top three, followed by Jorge Sr. in P4, Rick Shear rounding out our top five, Papa in P6, Dark and Azrael in P7, Talon in P8, Fast Cougar P9, Alicos in P10. That rounds out all of our 117 drivers, by the way. There were 10 of them. Absolutely staggering. Making our way down the grid, we have the True Serum with a 118.030, followed by Lagtastics with a 118.047, followed by Debbie Fishtail with a 118.177, followed by RSR Ace R1 with a 118.387. It's like the casino. I'm seeing 777s. Making our way on over into P15, we will have Jesser, also known as J Senior, with a 118.389, followed by Coror, Angry Fredbird with a 118.502, followed by Z48 Car 88 with a 118.555, with RSR Zilla coming in with a 118.586. So that was only a little over 300th of a second separating them, followed by Sugar Shuffles, Stumpy, PhD Shaggy Doo 88, Arnax, PhD Mr. Ormond, PhD Strict 9, Beef Castle, Krulop, and BHR Fernando Button all making the cut for our top 28 drivers. And unfortunately, that does mean that Sonic does not make it any further in this competition. Sonic, you had a very valiant effort. You were quick. Like, you were very quick, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. We hope that we will get to see you in Season 6, and fret not, your entry fee will be refunded to you. Oh boy. I hate telling people that they gotta go home. I really do. But we had an outstanding qualifying session for our Friday split. Gentlemen, out of the people that made it in the top 28, who are you going to be keeping your eye on moving forward? Starting with you, Slow-Mo.
I'm going to be watching Krula, believe it or not. He didn't get into our previous season. He's been joining all kinds of different leagues and doing a lot of racing. So keep your eyes on him. He did just kind of sneak in there, but I think he is going to be somebody to watch in that B division there.
All right. Leo, anybody you're going to be keeping your eye on?
Can I name multiple people? Because I have got the easiest access to the PhD guys, but really, Subi is the one I'm going to keep an eye on the most.
All right. That's perfectly fine. Now, I do have a quick question for production, and I will relay what it said. Dear Mr. McNaughty, with our Thursday qualifiers and Rick Shear, Nuke, Lead Pencil, and Socaj, I believe. Were any of those Friday drivers? All right, I'm getting word from production that Rick Shear was one of the qualifiers that had to do an early session due to a scheduling conflict, and he did make it P5 overall. So, how will that affect the league? We'll just have to wait and see and find out. But I do also want to quickly throw out that we did get a generous donation from the glorious beard man himself, T-Case. $10. Can't wait for tomorrow. GG's Friday crew. GG's to you, T-Case. You look good. So I guess with all of that, I just want to quickly, for one last time this evening, thank Hankies for sponsoring the league. Find them over in the St. Louis area. If you find yourself traveling there, stop on in. Tell them the NRL sent you. They'll be happy to hear that. Remember, if you ain't first, We're open till 1 a.m. So any closing remarks from you, Slow-Mo?
Yeah, I mean, what an awesome start to our season. We saw some guys really putting down some excellent laps. I got to add something to people to watch. How can we forget about Fredbird coming in and putting up just a stellar time today? So keep your eyes on that sponsor car, Hankey's car. Fredbird is going to be, somebody to keep your eye on throughout the season.
That smells like nepotism, but all right, fair enough. Leo, any closing remarks?
Yeah, man. I'm stoked to see how this goes. A lot of the close times in that qualifier. Quite a few of the guys that have been around have seemed to step up their game quite a bit. And I'm happy to see that, and I can't wait to see how they do, honestly.
All right, fair enough. But with all of that being said, that will do it for us on the Friday side of things. Remember to tune in tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Oh, I'm also getting word from production that we have a round one reveal. How could we forget the most important part of this broadcast? For those of you that made it into the NRL's 5th season, let's see what you guys are dealing with. All right, for Division B, y'all are at Daytona, baby. We are at Daytona. All right, so what are we dealing with? 35 laps, Daytona Tri-Oval in the beautiful, historic 4GT LM race car Spec 2. All racing tires will be available, no requirements. It will be a grid start with a false start check as God intended. BOP will be on with brake balance available, and you will be able to tune your downforce. The damage will be heavy. It will be a 3 times tire, 3 times fuel. It will be a 5-minute qualifier with the same fuel wear or fuel burn and tire wear rates as the race. So, yeah, this is going to be a good one. We're starting off with some oval racing in a historic car that went and won Le Mans 4 years on the trot. So, yeah, that's a great way to start this one off. Let's go and take a look at what Division A has. Ooh, Division A. Oh my God, yes. McNaughty, you are an angel. Okay, let's get into this. Dragon Trail Seaside, reverse, 17 laps in God's gift to humanity, the Aston Martin V12 Vantage, baby. Okay, it's gonna be a grid start, false start check, brake balance allowed, heavy damage, 2 times tire, 3 times fuel, racing mediums and racing softs available, no tire requirements, 10-minute qualifier. Oh, this is going to be great. Oh, that's my favorite car. Oh, Division A, you have a great time ahead of you. I'm going to throw out, that car is not great whatsoever, but it's just a beauty. Listen, I am asked until the day I die, but I will concede that Vantage is not what it used to be. Like, I'm pretty sure Toby Keith has a song about it ain't as good as it once was, but yeah, still a great combination. I am thrilled to bits to see that car, and please do not miss tomorrow's broadcast where you'll have Flaw Genius Gaming, T-Case, and S7R's Tati all bringing you the racing action and entertainment. And yeah, you'll get to see what the Saturday drivers are up against for that one as well, because, well, no 2 races are the same here in the NRL. Division A and B will have something different, and the Saturday and Friday drivers will have something different. So, yeah, you will not want to miss a second of this 5th season of the NRL. Now, with all that, we must regrettably bid you all adieu. We will see you all for round 1 on Friday. We will see you all in the chat tomorrow for the Saturday qualifiers. And if you want to see all of us in action outside of the NRL, you can find Leo over here on YouTube, where he streams quite frequently. GT7, Satisfactory, whatever tickles his fancy. You can find Slow-Mo over here on YouTube as well, where he streams GTA Golf, if you are a golf enthusiast. And you can find me over on primarily Twitch, where I stream really whatever I feel like, and say really whatever I feel like. It's nothing too terrible, but definitely not child friendly. And with all of that, we bid you all a good night. Stay safe, stay warm, stay well fed, and bye-bye for now.